This podcast is brought to you in part by PNP Games, your online source for everything video games. Visit their website at pnpgames.com or at their 2 retail locations in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Let's get started.
All right, everybody, and welcome to the Bonus Stage Podcast. This is episode number 36, recording on Friday, July 5th, 2013. As always, I'm your host, Lloyd Hannison, and joining me today, Jeff Ward.
You always say today, as in like the host will change periodically.
Well, I do shows on different days, so today you are joining me.
I guess so, yes.
That's
I always join you on the bonus stage.
True.
Yeah.
Except for the days that you don't.
Which was never.
Except for the days you don't.
No, which was never. Actually, I think that I missed one of these dudes and you had somebody else host it, I think.
Yeah, I don't even remember, man. We've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah, it's time to quit.
Long time.
This is the last episode of the bonus stage.
It is. The last bonus. We will not be doing a show next week.
We actually will be, yeah.
And that is kind of a joke. But we will actually not be doing a show next week. So if you guys are coming for the live show, just want to say hello to everybody in the chat room so far for showing up. Stephen Prometheus. Okay, I'm not going to say it. Jake Carguth. They're all in the chat room right now joining us. Just tweet it out. So hopefully some other people are going to come join us as we get started. We love doing this live for you every Friday at 10 p.m. Central. That's GMT minus 6, depending on which part of the world you're in. And we just love doing it, and we love having you guys show up. And Jeff's laughing, but we have Australians join us. We have people from the UK join the chat room, so they need to know what Central is to them.
I find it funny that if we want to tell people what their time zone is, GMT minus 6 is probably a lot harder to figure out than just like typing in what is 10 p.m. Central my time into Google and having Google figure out.
Says the person that lives in like North America. But if you talk to people in Europe, they know what GMT minus whatever is, because that's how they do conversions between all the different countries over there.
Crazy. I didn't realize that everybody overseas worked at UPS or FedEx.
They do. They do.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's great. I don't even know what that means. So.
Well, because they have all the fucking clocks all over the place.
I
get it. All the time zones.
That was a poor joke. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I think that was a pretty good joke. I think it was mediocre at best. I just believe that your brain function was low and you couldn't figure it out.
Okay, well, we'll go with that. We're getting surly already at the start of the show.
It's the last one. We have to go out with a bang.
We're going to start throwing punches at each other, so stay for the fun.
It's a good thing we're not living together.
All right, well, let's get into the show. As we said at the start, we are sponsored by PNP Games. Check them out over at pnpgames.com. They have everything. I even found a rare sealed copy of Super Princess Peach for my 3DS. My daughter graduated kindergarten, and I was wanting to get her a new game, and I was like, oh, she loves Peach. So I went and looked for a copy of Super Princess Peach. It's a game from 2006, and PNP Games...
Is it actually pretty rare?
What's that?
Is it actually pretty rare?
It's a game from 2006, and I bought a sealed copy, so it is pretty rare to have sealed games from that long ago. It's a new game, and yeah, I got it, and my daughter lit up like a Christmas tree. She loves it. She plays it all the time, and they were able to track me a copy down. So PNP Games, you rock. You made my daughter happy. So check them out, pnpgames.com, for all your used and new game needs.
Have you played it?
Yeah, I played it way back in the day, actually.
Is it a good game?
I don't know. It's a game.
You sounded auto-tuned there on my end, by the way. It was really strange, but...
I said what?
You sounded auto-tuned.
Oh, did I?
You kind of had this really long
Sorry,
pause.
This is my T-Payne mic. I should put my normal podcast mic. Yeah. I'm sorry. I played it way back in the day. It's a platformer, but it's a platformer... I don't want to. I guess it's kind of sexist, even though it stars a woman, because your powers are controlled by your emotions.
Oh my god!
So when you get angry, you start on fire and burn things. You can get sad, and then tears stream out of your eyes, and they can make things grow. You can get super excited, and you spin around and float.
Really?
Yeah,
That seems so like such a bad idea.
I mean, they didn't get land-based online for it, so I guess it's not sexist. But whenever I think about it, it's just like, this seems kind of weird. This seems like something that a lot of people online would just blow up about, because that's the in thing to do these days.
You said 2006, right? So was the internet in full militarized mode at that point?
Did it exist really? I don't know. Was that BBS era? I can't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's kind of sexist.
Yeah,
but my daughter,
crazy.
she loves it. She loves it. She loves making Peach turn on fire and burn enemies. She thinks it's the funniest thing ever. Yeah, it's an interesting game. It's a platformer. In each level, you're finding hidden toads. So you find 3 toads in the level, and you're in a quest to go save Mario. So it's basically what people are saying, well, why is it always the man saving the woman? Why can't we have equal rights in gaming? Oh, this is a game that is like, yeah, you can have equal rights. The woman is saving the guy.
It does kind of seem like a 1 step forward, 2 step back, though, right? Because I mean, she's crying, and then she gets really mad,
and 4 steps back, because you have 4 different emotions that you can switch to at any time. It's
what a ridiculous concept. I mean, I'm sure the powers are cool and interesting and new, but you could have tried any other way to get, maybe there are different kind of mushrooms that work differently on people, for Christ. I mean, it's Jesus.
Yeah. It's
the imagination at Nintendo for the Mario universe seemed to have stopped fully there, and they're like, well, she's a woman, right? So she cries a lot or something.
And I think Nintendo's past the point of trying to make like equal rights. They make games, and they're not trying to be sexist at all with any of their games. So I don't think anything really factored into this. They just thought, well, how can you change up this platformer thing? It's not just a dumb guy jumping on things and stomping Goombas and Koopa Troopas. So they did it with the way that Peach can kind of change her mood and do different things. I don't know, but to me, it was like the first time I played it, I'm just like, really? You're saying women are super emotional and they get really fiery, angry, and cry sometimes? And I'm like, wait a second, that's kind of accurate, I guess. And here comes the flood of email. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, it's just
send your hate mail to Lloyd at IHateWomen.com.
Yeah, that is not true. I have a wife. If I hated women, I would not have a wife. She would have left me a long time ago. But yeah, it's really odd. Daughter loves it though, and
that's good.
Yeah, it's a good game. That's actually kind of fun. I play it with her because some levels are really kind of tricky. She's only 6, so or she will be 6 rather in September. So she's getting to that point where she can start to read a little bit. This game doesn't really have much reading after I read the kind of intro stuff for her, but there are some puzzles that are a little bit beyond her, so I have to help her through some of that stuff, which is kind of cool too, because I get to sit there with her and actually play the game. So yeah,
cool.
Princess Peach from 2006.
I wonder what the reaction would be like if that game came out today.
Since
there would be an Anita Sarkeesian video on it for sure. I have to assume.
Maybe. I don't know. It came from Nintendo, and they're kind of like the lovable uncle that says really racist things. And you're just like, oh, uncle, I love you anyway.
Yeah, I guess
they're kind of like that company, right? They can do no wrong. It is a small
little microcosm, right? Where you're like, that's wrong, Nintendo, but you were in my living room when I was 4 years old, so that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really bizarre. But anyway, yeah, that's Super Princess Peach. Pretty decent. Cool. Pretty decent. So it's been a while. How the hell are you?
I'm good. This week was actually really, really slow business-wise. Like, I only had a few things to do, got them done at the beginning of the week. So all I was doing was kind of just sending emails and talking to clients about doing new videos over the summer and all that kind of stuff. And I had a ton of time to play games, and I went ham on games. I've been playing a ton of Animal Crossing New Leaf, and Carly's also gotten into it as well too. She took it with her on her trip, so I don't have it for the weekend, but I didn't think I was going to play it anyway. But that game, again, like when we did the review, I think I've said maybe all I can ever say about this game, but to just go to it a little bit, I'm still having a ton of fun. the game has never really frustrated me. You know, like I'll scare away a couple of bugs that are worth 8,000 bells or something and be like, damn it, you know, but nothing to the point where I'm like, I'm tired of this, I'm going to put it down kind of thing. You know, there's always something new happening. I said that really weird, happening. The Club LOL is now opening up. I got all the signatures for that. And new people are moving in all the time and other people are leaving. And they always seem to ask you as the mayor, like, hey, you know, like I'm leaving. And I'm like, okay. Town's kind of crowded anyway. Like I don't care. And then they seem really depressed, you know, like, well, go have your stupid adventure, you rhino bastard. Like I don't care, you know, like take your house and leave. But it's just a really chill game, and you know, sending stuff back and forth between me and Carly's house, and she's upgrading a lot, and she's helping me, like, you know, build in new public works projects and stuff, and it's surprisingly deep. It's surprisingly deep. I've been on the wiki a lot for Animal Crossing, trying to figure out, you know, what the most valuable items are and how to really cash in, and you know, kind of not necessarily how to game the system, but certainly how to get the most out of it, you know? And I didn't even realize that there was this, like, I don't know what the hell she is, but she's some lady who comes every Sunday morning with like turnips, and there's like a weird, strange economy system where
the turnip market.
Yeah, it's like buying stocks or something, you know?
Yeah,
like
it's actually called the stock market.
STALK.
STALK. Yeah. So it is exactly like stocks.
That's really cool. So yeah, I'm just starting to learn about that. I haven't, because I'm never, who the hell's up early on a Sunday morning to play a video game? Certainly not I. So I just figured out, I just was reading about this today, and I was like, man, that's really deep for a friggin' kids game, you know, with such a Fisher Price economy, that it still somehow works and is very interesting. And it's, you know,
because it's a Nintendo game.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know what they have some sort of magic formula, don't they?
Well, what it is little things. Like they put stuff in games that no one will ever notice it being there, and no one will ever notice it not being there. But if you ever played the same game with it and without it, you would totally 100% notice that it was there. Like little things like where you walk. So you're walking in certain paths all the time to get from your house to the retail to go to the city. You'll eventually actually wear paths in the grass, so the grass will turn brown. Little things like the train that passes by every once in a while, and you'll see like the train arms will go down. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but if you,
I have not, no,
because you don't have a lot of friends on your 3DS, right? A lot of contacts.
3, I believe.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So what happens is, if someone opens their gates so people can join their system multiplayer, a train will go by everybody, all their friends' games if they're in the game right then. So if you see that happen, you know, oh, one of my friends just opened their gates, so you can go and try to join one of their cities. Like,
that's cool.
Little things like that. Like, there's just so many little tiny like polished touches that, like I said, you would notice if you had the game with it and without it side by side. But you never notice or not notice it if you're just looking at the game. But it's Nintendo. They always put this crazy polish on the game, and they don't release it until it's 100% exactly what they want.
Yeah, it's such a strange game, and it's so much fun. I think the thing that really strikes me as impressive is that the game, when you start out, there's nothing to do really. You know, you set up your tent in your house and you try to just get some fruit to, you know, get the down payment so you can get a house. There's very little to do, but every day the game gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yep.
And the fact that it still keeps you engaged when there's nothing to do is really impressive, and I think is a testament to how that game has become so popular. You know, there's this guy on YouTube. I'm going to assume he's probably from Japan or China or something, because his game is all in, I don't know if it's Mandarin or whatever it's written in, but he has like all these videos about how to get, you know, like 400,000 bells in 15 minutes, you know, on the island, and essentially gaming the system. And the amount of time and effort people have put into making their houses and making their characters and the designs and just their towns, it's like, man, this game is so much bigger than what I have on my DS, but it's the same thing. I just haven't discovered it yet, and that's really exciting. So it's awesome, and I'm really happy to be playing it. Another mobile game I'm playing a lot of lately is Wipeout 2048 on the Vita. Yes, the Vita, a new game on the Vita. This was a launch title, one that I knew was good, but didn't pick up because I wanted to play Uncharted. I wanted to play Unit 13. Those were games that I was putting more stock into. Uncharted just because it's Uncharted, and Unit 13, I was like, hey, you know what, this game looks interesting. I think it could be fun, and it was okay. But Wipeout I got for free because I'm now took the plunge, and I'm now a PS Plus member. So
I was gonna say, I thought you'd lead with that because you said that was something you would probably never ever do because you're not the guy that ever wants a game that could eventually go away.
Yeah, and you know what, I used to be like that, and over the weeks, I think I've worn down. I mean,
it's me.
The fact that we've
I'm putting my hand up. I own up to this responsibility. I ruined you.
Almost every week we've talked about, the great deals on PS Plus. And really, quite frankly, at this point for me, and I think for a lot of people, the free games alone, the instant game collection alone is worth the price of admission. If you never buy anything on discount, the free games are more than enough to get your money back. And it's a fantastic service. The fact that they also built in this really cool thing that I know you've been talking about for a long time, and now that I've got it, I'm now, finally finding the joys of automatic updates of your console, which is fantastic. Loving all of that stuff. So I got the 2048 on the Vita, playing it a lot. It's fantastic. It looks gorgeous. This game is more than a year old now, and I can't believe how good it looks. It looks like it just was made yesterday. It's totally fantastic. The sense of speed is great. Battling with other ships is fantastic, with your missiles and your machine guns and all that kind of stuff. It's awesome. And I kind of wish I had bought it a long time ago. I'm glad I got it for free, and I have it at least. But this game has also really kind of whet my appetite for a drive club on the Vita. And we were talking about this before the show, but I really hope that the makers of that game do a drive club for the Vita and not just one that you can play streaming from your PS4, or, we get a Gran Turismo or something on the Vita, because the racing games should be on there. And I don't know if it's a big market on the Vita right now. I really only know of Wipeout. I don't know if there are any other racing games out there that are full releases. So, if you have PS Plus and you have a Vita, pick that up because it's fantastic. It is a really, really solid racing game. I've been playing a couple more things. Walking Dead Survival Instinct. Wow. We'll get into this later when I do my review of it. But God, it's shit. It is shit.
Tell me how you really feel, Jeff.
Oh, it's fantastic. When I gave it back to you, did you get a chance to play it?
No.
Or did you just throw it in the trash?
No, I haven't played it.
So yeah, we'll talk about it later, but I've been playing that, and I have some things to say about it. And then just because it's always near my Xbox, I've been playing a lot of Black Ops 2, and I'm kind of fallen into that pit again, which is unfortunate, because once you get in there, it's kind of hard to get out. I've wanted to play it all day, and I've kind of held off because I've had other things to do. So I've been playing a ton this week, and a lot more other stuff too, chess and MLB and all that kind of shit. And I've also started a new playthrough of The Last of Us on Survivor, so I've been doing that as well too. And yeah, it's hard. It is. They give you nothing. Give you nothing.
You have no listen mode. You don't get any items. Like the first segment when who's it? You go into the room where you talk to the little kid, you give them a bunch of cards to go check if the thing's clear. Yeah. Every other playthrough, you go in the room and the girl you're with says, "Oh, check over there. There's some ammo. You might want to take it." You walk in the room in Survivor. She doesn't say anything because there's no ammo to be found. Yeah. You're not getting ammo unless you're choking it out of people that you.
And even then, like, those guys have loaded guns, and when you choke them out, they're like, "What did you eat it or something?" Like, where's the ammo?
Oh, I happen to have shot my last bullet as you killed me. Darn.
Still really fun, very challenging. I haven't gotten out of the city yet, so I know that the game is going to get more challenging. you know what? I can't even say where I am because the game is still so fresh. I don't want to spoil it for people. But the game is still in its infancy, so I know that it's going to get harder. And there are going to be some sections of the game that are just going to be impossible to beat. So I'm looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm.
What have you been playing this week?
I've been playing a fair bit. Animal Crossing as well. I mean, I play it first thing in the morning when I first get up. I do my run around, digging up all the fossils, buying all the stuff, eating my fortune cookies, getting items. Then I get up and I shower and I go to work, and then I come home and I play more Animal Crossing, and then I play usually late at night to get a whole bunch of bells to pay off things.
You bring your game with you too, right?
I do. I keep it in my bag. I more so just get the play coins from walking around. I don't really play at work. Even on my lunch hour, especially this past week, I've just been so busy. I didn't really take lunch at all this week. So yeah, I play a lot of that. I also picked up the Walking Dead 400 Days DLC. We'll be talking more about that a little bit later on in the show. And I picked up Mortal Kombat. There was a sale on PlayStation Network, and I picked up Mortal Kombat 9 for both the PlayStation 3 and the Vita. It was like $5 each. It's a game that I've always wanted to pick up for $20 in like the greatest hits collection or whatever, like the cheap version for my PS3, and never did for whatever reason. And now it's like, oh, I'll just buy it for $10 and I'll have it on both systems. So I've been playing a lot of that on my Vita. Was showing Nick actually the game, and was showing him Scorpion, and showing him like, this is a fighter. I used to play these in arcades and blah blah blah. And then Muscle Memory took over and I did a fatality. And Nick saw the fatality. He's like, you cut the guy in half. And I'm like, oh crap, he was
Go
there,
to your
right?
room.
I was like, I should not have done that. So yeah, that was interesting. Showing a 7-year-old a fatality. I'm the dad of the year. But playing a lot of that, having a lot of fun. I'm a huge Mortal Kombat fan from way back in the arcades. So
yeah, it's hard not to be. Great game. I think I have like Mortal Kombat 3 on the Super Nintendo behind me.
Yeah, it was so much fun. Like in Winnipeg, we were one of the test arcades for Mortal Kombat 2. So I remember going to this one arcade every day just to see the updated ROMs if they got ones, and we used to find out the fatalities first because there was nowhere to find them ever. There was no online. There was message boards on bulletin board systems, BBS systems. So we would find the fatalities and we'd tell people, and I'm sure that we spread out a lot of the new fatalities for these people from that. And I've just had a love of that game ever since. I want to have a Mortal Kombat 2 arcade unit.
Didn't they also used to have a lot of the moves like printed on the art of the cabinets as well too, or did those come later?
Well, not when you have a game that is not actually released yet. It's a beta, a beta version of the game that just has it has the art on the top of the arcade, and that's all they have.
The TV on a stick with some controls and its buttons.
Exactly. So yeah, it was pretty cool. So that is cool. I eventually want to get a Mortal Kombat 2 arcade cabinet for my basement because that would just be the ultimate one.
I want to get any cabinet for my basement. Like preferably Donkey Kong because that's the cool thing. But I would take anything.
Really,
it could be Addams Family. I don't care. I just want a cabinet down here.
Donkey Kong is it's the hipster arcade cabinet.
It is, yeah, but I do really like that game. I remember playing it a ton when I was in arcade, like when arcades were still around.
Yeah, I would love like a Raiden. I actually found a guy that was selling a Raiden cabinet for $300, and I was like, what?
Whoa!
So went out to go see it, and it was a big scam. The guy tried to basically wanted to sell it to me, but I had to give him the money first. He wouldn't help me load it up on my truck, and I was just like, yeah, you know what? No, thank you. So I never ended up buying it, but that would be another one to own as well.
You never ended up buying, but you also escaped with your life. So it's kind of a lose-win.
Very, very true. Stuff like the X-Men arcade cabinet would be nice, or Simpsons. But yeah, Mortal Kombat 2 would be kind of the ideal one for me. I'd love that. So I've been playing
maybe a Frogger. I'd like a Frogger just because of the Seinfeld episode.
I was going to say you can move it across the street like
Costanza.
Was it Costanza that did? I can't remember. Yeah. So yeah, I've been playing Mortal Kombat on my PlayStation 3 and the Vita, mostly on the Vita. Downloading a whole crap load of stuff on my Vita because one of our listeners sent me a 32 gig Vita memory card. So I'm loading everything on it. This is a guy that's listened to my podcasts since I did the PSP podcast in 2005. So long time listener.
Does he listen to this one?
He does every once in a while, yeah.
Right. Well, if you're listening, I would also like one.
Yes, yes.
I think I still have the 8 GB because it was all I could muster to afford at the time. I was already pissed off that I was going to spend over $300 on
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, I have an 8 gig. I have a 4, an 8, and now the 32, and it's so nice. Although
32s are still what, $80 still? Like,
yeah, they're like $100 to buy.
my God.
It's stupid.
Wow.
But transferring stuff from one to another, Sony, you just make things so difficult sometimes. Like, anyway, I will get into that another time. But yeah, I've been playing Mortal Kombat on the Vita and downloading every other game that I have access to.
Nice.
And which is good. So I have all the stuff. I have all the games ever on my Vita right now. It's pretty cool. And I got my Ouya. We didn't do a show last week, so I was planning on doing a full big review for it. I got my Ouya, and I've been playing Ouya. Oh, yeah. Yeah, maybe I'll do a review when we do our review stuff. Maybe I'll talk about it a little bit more. But yeah.
I think the aggregate of Ouya reviews are Towerfall's great.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's exactly what it is. Towerfall is awesome. There's emulators and there's lots of games that are kind of interesting but are way too expensive. There's
I heard the online stores are just insane.
Well, it's hit and miss. Like everything's gonna normalize, but some games are like $15. Some games are 99 cents. Some of the games that you would rather pay $15 for are actually only being sold for 99 cents, so you're happy. Some games that you would never pay 99 cents for are $15. Like they're really trying to kind of do something here. So a lot of people are pricing it all over the place. There was one game that I was looking at that my kids were playing because every game has a free demo, and we downloaded it, and the kids were playing it and they loved it. So I went to see how much it was, and it comes up. It's like, oh, $14.99. And I said, yeah, you know what? Don't like it that much. They can play the demo. I don't want to pay $14.99, so I hit cancel, and then it popped up another screen. It's like, we understand times are tough and people have a lot of games to spend their money on, and maybe $15 is too much for just a little downloadable thing on a new console, but we'll show you the screen one time. We'll give you a one-time chance to buy it for $10 for $9.99, and we'll sell you a copy of the game. And I was like, really? Okay. So I bought it for $10 just to say
that's kind of interesting.
Just to say that was awesome. I never expected that to give me the hard sell. Thank you. So I bought the game, and now the kids play it all the time, which is fun.
I know a lot of people have had some significant problems. I've read a lot of reviews so far, and one of the things that people seem to be bashing quite a bit is the store and the inconsistent pricing. And obviously I don't own one, so I don't really have a dog in this fight, but I can't see myself getting mad over something that's so new. Everyone's trying to figure out what the appropriate price is to pay. What are people willing to pay?
Yeah, I don't fault the Ouya for that. It's just like when iOS was new. Like I paid $10 for Super Monkey Ball. And
I saw a lot of $6 apps, and very few 99-cent ones.
No one wanted 99 cents. It was $5 to $10 was kind of the price. And so I downloaded Super Monkey Ball for $10, and it was unplayable. Like the controls were just horrible. And that's what's going to happen with Ouya. Things are going to figure out where they should be. I would think just like on iPhone or iOS, it's kind of like $2 to $5 is kind of the normal these days. Maybe $2.99 to $4.99 is kind of the normal. I can see a lot of games selling well at that price. But there's a lot of people that are selling apps that are available on Android, on the Android App Store for 99 cents, and they are asking for $10 or $15 on the Ouya store. It's like, well, you're already selling it for 99 cents somewhere else, so why do you think people would buy it for more here, especially when they could buy it on their Android phones and then sideload it onto the Ouya, because it is just an Android device. So there's going to be a lot of stuff. It's gonna get sorted out. But yeah, I'm pretty much using it for an NES emulator because I bought a whole bunch of NES carts and I don't have my Retron 5 yet. So I've been playing the ROMs of the games that I have sitting there, and I stare longingly at the NES carts, and then I play the emulator, which is kind of sad.
There is something different about playing it on the cartridge, isn't there?
It feels
I don't
better.
know what it is, but it's different.
Especially with the Retron 5, it's going to have like the actual ports where you can plug the cartridges in, or the controllers in. So I can play my NES games with an actual NES controller, and it's going to be way better.
Yeah, I have the Retro Duo, and they have the same port that is a Super Nintendo controller, and you can play NES games on it.
Right.
And it's okay, and you can still plug in an old Super Nintendo pad, but I don't play a lot of Super Nintendo games on it. I go back to the NES library, and it's just okay, but it's not great. I would love that rectangle pad, you know?
Yeah. There's something about it. Like,
Yeah.
And one thing with the Ouya, there's like some controller lag. So I was playing, what was I playing? Was it Super Mario 1 or maybe Super Mario 3 or Super Mario 2? It was one of the Mario games. And I'd hit jump and it would be almost like a half second from when I hit the button to when it actually occurred on the screen. And it's partly because I'm playing on an old LCD television that doesn't have a game mode. But even when I hooked it up to my newer television that has a game mode and I don't have lag on any other system, there's still a bit of lag on these controls. And it's just like, I don't even want to play emulators in this box. I just want to get my Retron 5 so I can put the actual cartridges in and play all my retro games that way. So I don't even think I'll play it that way. I'm looking forward to get Xbox Media Center running because you can sideload that onto that. That would be kind of neat to have some sort of video thing, I guess. But yeah, that's Ouya. I mean, it's kind of a meh thing for me right now. I guess that's kind of my review. We didn't have to save it for later.
You were very excited about it, though. I'm going to sneeze. Hold on. I'm going to mute my mic.
Yeah, I was really excited for it to come out. I was excited to get it. Super excited to hook it up. And I mean, it's not horrible. There's a couple games that are great. Like I've been playing Dub Wars, which is probably one of the best shooters I've played in a long time. It's like
I think I saw your Vine of that or something.
Yeah, it's like it's a game that's set to dubstep music, and as the game builds to the crescendo, and then you get the big drop, and then the game goes crazy because all of your weapon shots are timed to the music, and it's just stupid fun, and that's the game that I ended up paying $10 for. My kids love it, and I'll sit there and just play it for hours with them, and it's so much fun. There's other games like Towerfall is great. Towerfall is really only good multiplayer though, so unless I have a bunch of guys coming over to play it, it's kind of stupid to play it single player. The one nice thing about the Ouya is you can actually use other controllers rather than the Ouya controller. So you can pair a PlayStation 3 controller, or you can plug in a wired Xbox controller into it and use that.
I heard the Ouya controller is very poorly built, although it looks fantastic. I really love the look and design of it.
It's okay.
I heard it's cheap.
It's okay. The one thing about the Ouya controller is there is the lag because of whatever they're using for the Bluetooth transceiver. It just, even with the patch that came out, the day one patch, there's still a fair bit of lag, and it is kind of annoying. So I want to try digging out my my Xbox controller. I have an old wired controller. Plug it in and see if that's any better. But not all games will support it then. So yeah, I don't know. It's okay. It's interesting. I kind of dig it. We'll see what happens. They have a lot of work to do. The one bad thing about it is you still have to give them your credit card when you sign up for an account. Like when you first turn it on, you can't use it until you give them your credit card.
Weird.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do. Even though they said that, we're not going to require credit card. We're going to have gift cards available in stores. Well, your only option to sign up for an account is to give them your credit card or type in an actual gift card code. So
you have a brick if you don't have a credit card.
Yeah. You have a brick if you don't have a credit card, or a place where you can buy gift cards, because there's nowhere in Winnipeg that sells the gift cards. There's nowhere in Winnipeg that actually sells the Ouya. So it's okay, well, I don't want to give you my credit card. And I looked, and there's absolutely no way. Apparently some people are trying to root the box to then skip that step. But I mean, I'm not an Android hacker. I don't have an Android phone, precisely for the reason where I don't want to have something that I need to tinker with to get the most out of it.
Yeah.
So that's not something that I would ever do. I mean, I don't like giving my credit card out to companies that have just made money in a Kickstarter and really have not existed before.
Yeah.
I'll give Apple my credit card.
Of a trust thing there.
I'll give PayPal my credit card. I'll give Sony my credit card, even though they've had problems in the past. But I won't give Ouya my credit card until I got one, and then I had to actually get it activated. It was kind of crappy. So hopefully that will be fixed in the near future. A patch where I can actually disassociate my credit card from their system.
Yeah, I've been talking with Tom because Tom got one as well too, and he really likes it. Yeah. And I see my beef isn't with the device. I don't have a dog in this fight. I don't think that the Ouya is going to. Some people are convinced that the Ouya is like the end of like real console gaming, and I'm like, you're out of your friggin' mind if you think that that's the truth.
No, something like the Ouya might be the end of it, but the Ouya itself right now, no.
Yeah, and my big gripe is with the company itself and just how they've handled the Kickstarter, how they've been really poor at getting people their console. I mean, this thing is what now? Are we 10 or 14 days away from this thing being in retail stores?
No, I got it the day before it hit retail stores.
Okay, so it's in retail stores then now, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, and people still don't have theirs. And
those reports have kind of died down. When it hit retail stores, there was a huge flood of posts online, like people swearing up a storm on Ouya's page. That's kind of subsided. So I think most of the people that have pre-ordered it or have backed it on Kickstarter, because it's not a pre-order. When you back it on Kickstarter, you might not ever get anything. That's not what Kickstarter's for. But the people that backed it on Kickstarter and selected the dollar amount that got them an Ouya have probably received their Ouya.
Well, that's good. That's good. And that my only other gripe was just the way they acted like a petulant child during E3 when they weren't allowed in and they were all these reports of them lying about posting up their like kiosks outside and getting taken down. And I remember there was this big thing where it was like day 2 of E3. And this family, this like guy and his son and his daughter walked into E3 and they all had Play Ouya shirts and they were kicked out. And Ouya had like tweeted out this thing like, oh my God, they'd been kicked out because they were wearing Ouya shirts and EA didn't want them in there. And we're like, no, E3 is an 18 and above event and these kids are like 6 years old, you assholes. Like, get off of your friggin' high horse. Like, that drove me crazy. And I can't stand them anymore because I think that they believe that they're some like, we're riding in here and this is the wave of the future. And it may very well be, but you got to act a little bit humble, like, could you tone it down a bit for us? Because quite frankly, you're annoying the hell out of me. That's my big gripe with Ouya. I don't really care about that. I hope it's a good thing because you spend $100 on it. It should be worth that. And it sounds like for most people it is. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. I'm not like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. It's all I ever game on. But yeah, my kids love it. Kara tools around on it a little bit as well. I played some games on it. Yeah, it's okay.
It'll be one of those things like the iPhone and the App Store. Every day it'll get better. And that's almost a certainty. So that's an exciting thing to know.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's cool. I like it. I don't love it. We'll see what happens. It gets a C. We'll give it a C grade.
Hey, C's get degrees, man.
They do.
Why do you think I'm out of college now?
Exactly. All right, cool. So let's get into the rest. Sorry, what was that?
I was just going to say, it's basically saying what you were saying. I just said it in 2 words. I just yelled at you, new releases.
Okay, let's get into the rest of the show. New releases. Jeff, what's out this week?
Not a whole lot. There is a Xbox exclusive game called Scourge Outbreak. It's a third-person shooter game that came out. I don't understand the idea of having a Xbox exclusive game that isn't a AAA title. It just seems like a bad idea to me, but whatever. That's their prerogative. This is a kind of a interesting game to pin down on what it actually is. Really, the way they've written their description is it's just a third-person shooter game. And I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. It's on the Xbox 360. You can pick that up if you so choose. I think the 2 biggest releases of the week were the Walking Dead 400 Days DLC, which Lloyd is going to review later on in the show. Came out for everything, PS3, PC, 360, Vita, which is cool, and the Mac.
And iOS.
Oh, yeah, it came out on iOS as well, too. Yep. I guess it won't ever come out on the 3DS, right?
No.
That's too bad. And then the other thing was Black Ops 2 Vengeance DLC map pack, and that is a timed exclusive for the 360 for the next month. 4 new maps and a new zombies map and a new zombies weapon. Same kind of fare that we've seen for the last, I don't know, I guess 3 or 4 years now with Call of Duty DLC. It's just new maps. That's all it is. But it certainly reinvigorates play because when they announced it, when it came out, there was probably a third more people than there usually are online, and that's a pretty big number. You're looking at like around 140,000 more people online at one time, so certainly more competition on there. There's also a 3DS game called Crash City Mayhem, which is a driving racing game that is kind of a Demolition Derby style, but it's a cartoony kind of thing. You smash cars and you race and you win and all that kind of stuff. And then the last thing that came out this week isn't a new game, but it's on a new service, and that's Final Fantasy VII finally came out on Steam with achievements and all that kind of stuff. So, the internet went crazy for about 6.5 minutes when they realized that Final Fantasy VII is available for yet another platform. If you were waiting for Final Fantasy VII to come out on Steam to play it, quite frankly, sir, you have been waiting far too long. But if you haven't played it yet, it's available on Steam. I hope it's cheap. I actually don't know how much it is, but pick it up because it is a very fun game, albeit, in my opinion, overrated.
Okay.
So that is this week.
Cool. All right, let's take a small break and then we'll get into our reviews. We got a lot to talk about this week in reviews. So we'll take a couple minute break. We'll be back. We'll get into reviews and then jump right into the news. So let's do this random thing again, Jeff. Let's see how this goes. Here we go.
All right.
Starting okay. right. So that was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I like that one.
It wasn't too bad. Oh, we gotta switch cameras. Yeah, that was it's called Luke Hash by Pixel Love. I think it's
gotta love those pixels.
Or is it Pixel Love by Luke Hash? It's Pixel Love by Luke Hash. Oh, damn it. Damn you, iTunes, lying to me. Stop it. And it's really lying to me right there. All right, let's get into our reviews. I'm having problems with iTunes today.
Just falling apart this show.
I destroyed your eardrums multiple times by accident, Jeff.
Oh yeah. When Lloyd answered the call on Skype, like my headphones were just cranked because I was listening to a movie earlier and I was playing chess at the same time, and it was just, oh man, I thought my eyeballs were gonna fall out. Like, it was loud, really, really loud. Mm-hmm. And it also was a shitty song too, which was not good. So
it's all relative.
Yeah.
You don't like anything, so why would I take
Like I say, it's all relative as we prepare to do the review section of the show.
All right, let's get into it. What do you have up?
Yeah.
What do you have up?
Oh, I thought you were continuing that sentence.
No.
I've got a couple. These are both PNP sponsored reviews, by the way. So we thank them for their continued support of the show. And I was actually going to do Max Payne 3 a while ago, but I've had this thing kind of just, I played it, and we were going to do it the week of. I think we didn't do a show that week, and then it was The Last of Us and Animal Crossing, and I was like, well, you can't do it the same week. So played Max Payne 3 on the Xbox 360. It is an older game, but it's one that I was excited for when it came out because I did like the series back in the day. And Rockstar has, I would say, one of the most bulletproof track records a gaming company has. They've done some fantastic work in the last decade, and when I heard that they were doing this series, they were going to take it on, I was like, you know what, this really could be the next level of fantastic for that series. Max Payne 2 was pretty bad, but the original had some certain grit to it that I hadn't seen in a video game for a long time. So I was excited to pick it up and play it, and this game isn't a bad game. I just didn't like it, and I couldn't get into it. So you play Max Payne when he's an old, beat-up, grizzled old man and, severe alcoholic and pill abuser and, still, I guess, dealing with the trauma from the original game. I won't spoil it for anyone who hasn't played it, but I can't imagine there are very many people out there who don't know what happened in that game. But he is recruited by a guy, and most of the game takes place in South America, and he's recruited by a guy who he met a long time ago in, I can't remember, it's been so long, but they were friends a long time ago, and he's like, listen, I know you're not doing anything, because I can see you, and you look horrendous. Why don't you, be a private contractor with me? We're bodyguards, mercenaries of some sort, and, the story is just literally Max Payne talking with somebody and then shooting people, and then talking with somebody and then shooting people. And I know that a lot of games go like that. It seems foolish for me to gripe on a game that is entirely shooting when I'm a fan of the Call of Duty series or Battlefield. It seems silly, I know, but there wasn't something I could kind of get into in this game. That the bullet time is still there. You do a lot of really crazy stuff. Like one of the first things you do in the game is you jump off of this balcony on a high-rise building. You slide down this awning, and while you're falling, you shoot a guy in the head while he's holding this woman hostage, and then you fall into a hot tub. And that was pretty cool. And there are a lot of instances like that in this game. They have this really interesting thing where you can kind of slow down time as the bullets are hitting somebody, and you get to see the bullets ram into this guy's body, and then you can speed up the time and slow it down so it makes it look cool. And this game has a certain visual quality that the only other game I can akin it to is Kane and Lynch. Oh man, it's the second Kane and Lynch game, so not Dead Man. It's like
Dog
Tokyo.
Days, I think.
Dog Days or something like that. Yeah, it has that kind of visual style, but this is a much better take on it. It's like all the cutscenes have been edited by a really fantastic graphic novel editor. They're in these different panels, and there's words that are coming across the screen to really have this impact. You're supposed to really hang on to this guy. But for me, the story just wasn't interesting, and the gameplay couldn't hold me. There wasn't enough variety. It was literally just, okay, you shoot some guys and you get to the next area. You talk with somebody, and then you shoot some guys and get to the next area. And that's really it. I mean, it's not a bad game, and it's a very functional game, and it works. And I know I'm going against the grain of the aggregate and reviews out there. Very few people didn't like this game, and I guess I'm one of them. It didn't line up with what I was expecting, so it was kind of a letdown. That said, it's still a very well-built game. It's a Rockstar game. They've done a really fantastic job with it. Visually, the voice acting's amazing. And it's not broken or anything. It is a very functioning game. I just couldn't get into it. The other thing that I played, which was last week, another PNP sponsor review, is Walking Dead Survival Instinct. This game's been out for a few months now, and I wanted to play it because I wanted to see how bad it was. And yeah, it's bad. It's really really bad. Um, I I didn't even finish a third of the game, to be quite honest with you, because it was that bad. I just could not bring myself to play any more of it. I was like, you know what? I don't think the game is going to, in the second half, jump out and surprise me and say, okay, now it's a good game. I think it's still going to be the same game the entire way through. So I decided to just, you know what? I can't. It's just paining me to keep playing this. Um, you start off the game and it's you're hunting and they put you in this situation where you can't escape and you die, and it's very frustrating because you're like, well, this sucks, like, why am I doing this? And then you realize that you're not actually the main character of the game, and they kind of pull a double switch, and then you turn into the main character of the game, which is Daryl from the show, voiced by I can't remember the actor's name. That doesn't matter, but anyway, it's voiced by him, and you go off with your buddy who you were hunting with, and kind of just try to survive. And you stop off at like a bunch of farmhouses on the way, and it's so bad that the game. Man, how do I even explain this? Like, it's really bad. How do you explain a game that's so bad fundamentally and nobody out there can play it? Like, I don't want anyone to play this game. Please don't go out and buy it. But I want to like describe how bad it is, and I just can't get it across. The controls are terrible. I believe it's an Activision published game, so it's got a very Call of Duty-esque kind of. It's a first-person game. You're just beating the hell out of zombies with bits of wood and hammers and stuff, and if you run too much, you sweat and it comes down the screen and it's really gross, but the zombies can smell it, so they come after you. So it's kind of like, you shouldn't be sprinting all the time because they will find you. There are all these people all over the place that you can choose to save or leave them be, whatever. You just tell them to go to hell, and they can be in your party. And when you go out and do things, when you get to your next location, you can have them go to scavenge for supplies, or try to find other survivors, or try to find ammunition or something, or gasoline or whatever it is, and you just keep going like that. And that in itself is okay. Like, I think there was a good idea here in this game, but it was put together so quickly by a team who, it's pretty apparent that they didn't really know what they were doing. It looks horrendous. I mean, this game looks like it was a launch title for the 360, and we're talking, 8 years ago now that the 360 came out? It's really bad. The voice acting, although it is the character from the game, you're trying to find Merle, your brother, voiced by Michael Rooker. They just don't care. Like, it sounds like they just walked in and they were like, yeah, we're drinking coffee, and, one take, and they're like, that's good enough. That's good enough. You cost too much per hour. Let's just get it done. And it's such a shit game. Like, I really can't even. It hurts me to go back and think about it, actually, because it was just so bad. They give you achievements for doing nothing. Like sprint 10 times in one level. That's an achievement. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And yeah, it's so bad. It's just so bad. I can't. It might be the worst game I've played this year, and I think it's going to be easily one of the worst games I will have played in the last 5 years for sure. I mean, it's that bad. It is really, really bad. So go out and buy that game and let me know what you think. But there's another Walking Dead that came out this week that I am hoping is a lot better. I know that you said some things about it on Twitter, so I'll let you go on for 400 days, but I'm hoping it's a good review.
Sure, yeah. I picked up 400 Days. It's downloadable content, basically for The Walking Dead season 1. So it actually, you buy it. It's 500 point or 400 points on Xbox. It's $5 everywhere else. So it's the same price as one of the chapters for The Walking Dead season 1, and it actually shows up in Walking Dead season 1, and it's kind of neat. Stuff that you've done during season 1, if you've played it all, can change some of the stuff that happens in Walking Dead 400 Days, and what you do in 400 Days will be carried over into season 2 when that eventually comes out. That's cool. Yeah, kind of neat. So 400 Days covers 5 people, 5 groups of people, 5 situations, and it's basically like they all take place within the first 400 days of since the zombie outbreak. So there's a bunch of different characters. Like one guy is a criminal and you're on like a prison bus. There's just a guy or a girl with her daughter. So it's like various different types of people, different like runs, different like people have taken different paths in their life, and then what happened when the zombies hit. So I don't want to spoil anything, but I've said a couple of the things, and that doesn't really spoil it. But basically what happens is you spend about 5 to 15 minutes with, or maybe a half hour for one of the longer ones, with that person or the group of people. You make a couple decisions, people realize what you've done or remember what you did, and then it basically something happens, then you go on to the next thing. The game basically takes place as basically you're coming to a bulletin board and you're pulling these pictures off the bulletin board, and those are the 5 people are on the bulletin board. Prometheus in the chat room's asking, would Walking Dead 400 be any good if you haven't played the first 5 episodes? And not really. Can
you even download it if you haven't had the, because it's DLC to the original game, right?
Yeah, you can just buy it.
Okay,
and it will show up. You have to have at least number 1. So you at least have to have chapter 1, which is why chapter 1 is pretty much free everywhere now.
Yeah.
Because you need to have chapter 1 to play this. Or if
hard to just play chapter 1 and then not want to play the rest, though. I can't.
Yeah, and you don't even have to play it. You just have to have it.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. Then
So you could
download it for free and then
download it and buy it. But I wouldn't recommend that to anybody. So basically, the whole game revolves around that bulletin board. You go pull a picture off, and then you experience that person's story. And like I said, it's between 15 minutes all the way up to about 30 minutes maybe. I beat the whole game in about an hour and a half, maybe an hour and 40 minutes. And it costs the same as one of the chapters, which would take me about 3 hours to get through. So it was
$5, right?
It was $5, yeah. So it's the same price, same price as any of the chapters, and it is half the length of any of the chapters. And none of the stories that you're taking part in are really that interesting. And they say that what you've done here will carry on into the next season. And basically what happens is, I don't know if this is a spoiler. If it is, I apologize. But basically, you deal with the 5 groups of people, and then at the end, you know how if you've played any of the Walking Dead, you get graded. It's like 73% of the people did what you did here, and 23 did what you did here, and
one of my favorite parts of that game.
Yeah, and when I played through, let's see if I can bring up the image while I'm talking about it. When I did my playthrough, I guess I was really early in playing through it, and there hadn't been very many people that had beat it. So here, let me pull it up real quick. But as that's coming up, because people on the podcast is like, I can't even see it anyway. What are you wasting time for? And I apologize to you people. So we'll see. I'll see if it'll show up on my camera while I'm talking. I don't know if you guys can read it. Or you can just see the bars. It is exactly 50%. So 50% of the people did exactly what I did all the way down the list. So I don't know how many people did it. So 50% of players did every single thing, which I found kind of hilarious. So I had to take a screenshot of it because it was like, wow, that's really bizarre.
Does that seem like it's broken? Like,
no.
What are the odds that that's the case? Well,
maybe there was only 2 people that played the game, and I did it one way and the other person did it the other way. Like, I don't think they would lie with their stats. It was really kind of bizarre. Just a small sample size, I guess.
Yeah, because it's not like it's just your friends. It's
everybody.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I played it pretty much as soon as it hit the PlayStation Store. The PlayStation Store updates at like 7 p.m. or whatever, and I downloaded it 5 minutes after and played through it in the hour and a half. So there probably wasn't very many people that had actually beaten it at that time.
All right.
So anyway, after it tells you the percentage of people, it lets you know basically of the 5 groups of people. I'm not going to say what it lets you know about them, but it basically says that of the 5 groups of people, this is what you did right, kind of. So at the end of the thing, I only did 3 of the 5, I guess, the right way. And then, which made me even more kind of angry because it's like, crap, I spent an hour and a half and I didn't get all of the potential content that might carry forward into the second season. Or maybe you don't want any of those people to come with you. Like, you don't really know, but it's different from the normal screen that just says like 74 of people also shot that guy in the face, or whatever one of the one was from the other chapters. Like there was a bunch of different decisions you would make, right? That was like, oh, okay. This like gave you a very concrete, like you failed in this area and you did good in this area, which
that
is
does kind of suck, right? I like the fact that it was ambiguous. Like,
Yeah.
okay, so I was in the majority, but does that mean it was the right decision? You know?
Exactly. And the other thing about this is it has a bunch of achievements. There's like 8 achievements or something. So not a lot, but it's just one chapter downloadable content. And every other piece of DLC, the achievements or trophies was basically as you completed parts of the game, you'd get a trophy, and then when you beat the game, you got the gold trophy for that chapter. And then eventually, once you beat all of season 1, you got the platinum. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those, but then it also has two trophies that you can miss. So one of them is you play a game of rock paper scissors, and apparently I sucked at rock paper scissors. I didn't beat it, so I didn't get that trophy. And rock paper scissors is a game of chance, so it's like, okay, so I have to go back and replay the game if I want to get that trophy. It's like, what? I don't know. It's really weird. They took kind of what they did with the first one and they added almost like displays of what you did or what you didn't do good, which they never did before. It was all like you had to make a hard decision and your hard decision sucked, but 50% of the people also made that hard decision. So you're not as much of an ass as you might have thought you were, or only 5% of the people did what you did. So yeah, you're a jerk, type thing. Like you got that feeling after you played the game. This one is just like, well, you didn't do these things properly because these people aren't doing the stuff that they're going to do. And it's like, okay, so should I play through it again? Like I never felt the need to play through any of the other chapters again. But I'm thinking to myself, well, I kind of want that rock, paper, scissors trophy because that's the only one I don't have from the whole game. And should I replay it? And if I replay it, well, should I do stuff the same way so I don't change my ending? Like I don't know. It's really weird. They've changed what they've done with the rest of The Walking Dead, which I guess isn't bad. Change isn't bad, but it
does kind of make it seem like more of a game though, right? I mean,
exactly.
I think one of the reasons why I liked The Walking Dead so much was that it was like a movie or like a book where you just, I mean, Quacko in the chat room made a great point. He said, you don't beat the game, you just finish it, you know? So when you finish a movie, the movie doesn't tell you you watched this movie bad, you know? It's just like you're done, you know?
Yep.
And yeah, that does kind of suck.
So that's what I kind of left, like after playing through it and blowing through it in like an hour and a half, and I wasn't like speed running through it at all. I was just doing what I had to do, and it's like, what, an hour and a half? All right. And then what? I didn't get a trophy, and it's telling me that I may have not done something good, but then I don't know if it was really good or bad because you don't know until you play the next season. It's like, well, should I play it again and make sure I did everything good, or is doing everything good actually really bad? I don't know. It's just it's taken what was like kind of like this amazing experience, my game of the year, like all these crazy decisions you had to make. Like, do you shoot the guy in the face or do you shoot the girl in the face? And it sucks because someone's gonna die, but you have to make a decision. To, well, did you win 3 games of rock paper scissors? No. Well, then you're not good at rock paper scissors. It's like it's turned it into a kind of gamey, like you said, Jeff. So I don't know what I think about it. $5 for an hour and a half seems a little bit high. Since you're jumping across 5 different groups of people, you don't really you don't really have a relationship with anybody. Like at the end of the game, like Clementine was awesome. I love that character. Like all the characters that you experienced throughout the game that came along with you and either survived or didn't were all really good characters, and you had sort of a relationship with them by playing with or around them. In this game, it's just like, oh, so this guy went to this thing and did this thing, and this happened, and then that's it. And it was just really, really bizarre. The ending is kind of neat because it kind of sets up kind of what season 2 is going to be all about, which is kind of cool. I kind of like where season 2 is going to be going. But it took me an hour and a half to get there, and I could have just watched coming soon on The Walking Dead season 2. This is what's going to happen, and I would have probably been a little bit happier about it. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to think. It's okay if you want more of what you did. That is different, but still kind of the same with a lot more bugs. Like full like pauses, like the animation will go and the guy will be talking and he'll just go but the voice will continue on for like another 2 sentences, and then eventually the animation will take over and then they'll mouth those 2 sentences that they never actually said or anything like that. So a lot of bugs, a lot of stuff. I don't know. I'm not disappointed that I spent the money on it and played it. It's not what I was hoping for. I think the only thing that would have made me happy, I guess, was to get season 2 like on Tuesday when I played it.
Yeah. Hard not to judge this new game without having the thought of, season 1 in your head, like if there was no Walking Dead season 1 and it was just 400 days, do you think it would be worth $5?
Oh, no.
Because $5 for an hour and a half doesn't seem that bad to me, but
No. I mean,
so this game is better having knowledge of the other game.
Well, it's add-on content to a game, so you should have played the game before you. It would be like buying Borderlands and then not playing the main game, just buying one of the downloadable content packages and then jumping right into it. So jumping right into Mad Moxie, it's like, well, you could do that, but you're not going to really get the most out of it. Yeah. You don't really want to play like chapter 5 before you play chapter 1 in the game. This is just like chapter 6, I guess. It's something that you do after played it. Like you really had to have played the whole game to really get anything out of this downloadable content package. But yeah, it's $5. It doesn't really cover anything that happened in the first world, or the first season rather. It kind of exists totally outside of that, and I guess it is setting up stuff for season 2, which is kind of neat, but even then it wasn't super exciting. So I don't know. I'm happy I played it. I don't think I'm going to go back and play it again. I might try to play through and get that stupid trophy because I'm feel bad that I'm missing it. But then it's random, so I might have to play that sequence over and over and over to get it, because yay, rock, paper, scissors. Yeah, I don't know. So
does it take place in Georgia, in Macon, or is it somewhere else in the country?
It's all over the place. Kind of.
Just all over the place.
Well,
okay.
It's kind of in different places and at different times.
Gotcha.
From like day 1 to day 400 after the zombie outbreak.
Okay.
And then there's an epilogue at the end, which takes place on day 400.
I think I'm going to hold off.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe at least until like season 2 is on the horizon.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I said, it's not horrible, but it's not awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think there are probably better things to spend $5 on, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. If you like Walking Dead, I mean, it's more Walking Dead. But yeah, it's kind of not what I was hoping for. Which
you know
is
what?
A little bit sad.
Go and play Survival Instinct. I think you'll think 400 days is a lot better.
Yeah, it'd definitely be worth. I'd pay $6 for 400 days and $5 for Survival Instinct or whatever.
Well, I think they actually dropped the price of Survival Instinct right away. I think it was only $50.
Yeah,
but I don't think that excuses it being a shit game.
And I think you can find it in stores for 30 or 20 nowadays because it didn't sell well at all.
P&P had it used for like 39, I think.
Yeah.
Or no, new for 39. Yeah.
Nope, exactly. Yeah. All right. So yeah, that's Walking Dead 400 Days. Yeah, check it out. It's interesting. I don't know if you like Walking Dead. If you like season 1, there might be enough there for you. For me, it just seemed a little bit off from what I was expecting. All right. Do you think we need to take another break, or should we just get right into the news? We got a short news section. Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this happened this week, which is really kind of crazy. There was a kid, and he is a kid. I mean, well, he's 19 years old, but he's a kid, mentally, apparently, from the stuff that he did. And he basically lost a game of League of Legends, got in a fight with someone with League of Legends, something to do with League of Legends. And basically what he did is he basically went off on somebody on Facebook. He's like, I'm going to go shoot up a school of kids and eat their still beating hearts. And then followed by an LOL. So he was saying it's a joke.
And a JK.
And a JK. So I'm going to go shoot up a school and eat their still beating hearts. Lol, just kidding. And he posted that on Facebook. Someone reported him. And
some woman in Canada too, by the way. I was just reading this late, but some woman in Canada reported him. And this kid lives in where does he live? I want to say Texas, but I quite frankly I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. So he got mad at a game, and he got arrested for it, for uttering threats, terrorist threats, and now he's in jail, and he's facing potentially like 10 years in prison, and they've set his bail at $500,000.
Which I'm sure his parents have.
And it's funny, his attorney says that he's never seen a bail set so high, despite representing murderers, terrorists, and rapists in the past. So his bail is set super high. I don't know what to think about this. I mean, what he said was really stupid, but the total knee-jerk reaction, throw him in jail, he's a like national enemy #1, seems really kind of bizarre. And apparently his parents are saying that he's suffering abuse while in jail. He's basically, he has black eyes. He has had a concussion. He's been moved all over from his base to another base. He's been in solitary confinement. He's been in solitary confinement nude. He's been put in solitary confinement for days on end. He's depressed. And it's like, wow, this kid just uttered...
He's on suicide watch too.
Yeah, he's on suicide watch. And it's like, this 19-year-old kid just uttered something on Facebook and was a douche, and now he's basically in military prison.
Yeah. So
weird.
Sorry, go ahead there.
No, I was just gonna say obviously what's happening to him is like way overblown. He should get in trouble for making stupid comments on Facebook. I don't know whether he should be arrested and face up to 10 years in prison, because he said he was joking at the end of it. It would be like being in a bar and just saying, yeah, I'm gonna go shoot that guy in the face. He's an idiot. And then next thing you know, you're being bent over a police car and thrown in the back of it. Like it's
really strange.
It's odd.
I mean, they're clearly making an example out of him.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, just the most extreme way I've ever heard of in my life. Now, the kid was being a douche, and he probably is a douche in some way. You know, he's a 19-year-old kid playing League of Legends. It's a very competitive game. I'm sure he said many other horrible things. That said, no matter how many horrible things he said, I believe he's paid his time and then some, because he's been in jail since February.
Yeah.
And it's so unbelievable that, that this has happened. I feel really bad for this kid. It's unjust for sure. The bail is set way too high. He's been in jail for so long because this thing is taking a long time to get to court. And, again, his parents are saying that he's been facing some abuse. I don't know if that's true or not, but it seems like it's being reported a lot. I mean, it's being reported to NPR, and it seems like it's a fact at this point. So that's really a horrible. If you were going to make an example out of him, I don't know, take his computer away for a year or something like that. I mean, do something that seems to fit the crime. I mean, they're treating him like he's a terrorist, and he's concocting some master plan to go shoot up a school. And I understand the sensitivity after Newtown, and even going as far back as Columbine. These are horrible events. And yeah, he did put JK, which is stupid. Like that shouldn't be a defense. But I think there should be some kind of I don't know. There should be some kind of what the hell am I trying to say here? I don't even know what I'm trying to say.
I don't know. It was a tasteless joke. It would be like a comedian up on stage saying something like, yeah, I should go we should get rid of all the idiots. We should all get them into a building and then hit it with another plane. And then next thing you know, that person gets arrested and thrown in jail. It's like he wasn't going to do it. He was just saying something stupid. And that's exactly what this kid is doing. I mean, he said, just kidding at the end, like, lol, just kidding. So obviously he was making a joke. It's a horrible joke. And I don't say that that's funny or anybody should be saying that. But I mean, the punishment far does not fit the crime in the least. And like his attorney is saying, like he's getting worse treatment than anybody else that he's ever represented, even like murderers and rapists. And this is just a guy that made a stupid joke on the internet. I don't know. It seems to me it's going way beyond what like common sense would dictate. But
yeah, I hope that things get better for this kid. I hope that this thing gets thrown out, because it should be. I think it's pretty safe to say that this kid has learned his lesson in the most severe way possible. But
We can only
just
imagine
awful.
what's been happening to him while he's in jail, right?
Yeah. The weird thing is, if you go to like any newspaper article or any kind of like news blog or any kind of political thing, and you take a look at the comments, I mean, there is some significantly harsher shit down there that isn't said as a joke. And nobody gets arrested on that.
Well,
so
totally.
that
Like the number of times I said, "Oh, just go die in a fire," about something, right? Obviously, I don't mean it. I don't ever want anybody to ever die in a fire. But it's just kind of like you say something absurd, right, to kind of make your point in a weird way. If I got in trouble for every time I said that, my God, I'd be in jail for the rest of my life times 20. Like it's really weird. And it's weird that it all stemmed from a video game. I guess it's the only reason why we're talking about it. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's enough political type commentary here on the show. But just really weird. So if you get really pissed off, like what about all the people on Xbox Live and all the crap that they spew? Why aren't they getting some jail time?
I killed a kid with a shotgun last night on Call of Duty. You could have heard the word he called me. I mean, like, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, really bizarre. So if
Quacko said in the chat room he wishes MLB The Show would die in a fire. I'm reporting this kid to the FBI. Like, this
all right, the men in black suits will be at your door really soon, Quacko. Yeah. All right, moving on. Remember Phil Fish from the creator of Fez, and he always said that he would never, ever patch the game because Microsoft are idiots and they charge too much. Mm-hmm. Well, he's patching Fez on Xbox Live Arcade.
Yay! Which is great because I haven't been able to play my copy since.
Exactly. He said it's going to take a few months, but he's doing it. And he said it's also a 4th of July miracle. And I guess the reason why they're doing that is Microsoft, since at E3, it also came out that Sony doesn't charge for patches. Sony doesn't charge for all this. Sony doesn't charge. Microsoft's like, crap, we're getting more bad PR. Let's fix it. And they went to fix it. And one of the ways they fixed it was basically saying that, oh yeah, well, since April, we didn't charge for patches. We just didn't tell anyone. And of course, this was announced after E3. So it's like really, Microsoft, you really expect us? It's like, I totally have a golden Pokemon, but I'd never showed anybody. It doesn't matter that you got that thing, that special thing. That Wayne Gretzky rookie card. I have like 3 of those at home. No, you can't see them, but I have them. It's like that kind of reaction. It's just like, what? Yeah. Is that a thing? Anyway. Yeah, so Fez will be getting a patch because Microsoft is finally coming to their senses, which is a good thing.
Yeah, I saw this when he tweeted it. I was on Twitter and I was like, oh yeah. And it was funny because the day before he tweeted this, he tweeted it like 6 or 7 times, like in all caps. Everybody needs to stop following me because Twitter has ruined my life and it's an addiction. And I'm like, okay, well, he's going through a tough time again. And then now he's all happy. So I don't know what the hell's going on in Phil Fish's life, but Fez 2 apparently is taking its toll on him.
Exactly. So I guess not charging for patches isn't the only smart thing Nintendo's or Microsoft has done this past week or so. They've also fired their CEO, and Don Matrick is no longer a Microsoft employee. He is now the CEO of Zynga. And when this launched and was announced and the furor sped up on the internet, and people were just like coming up with better and better jokes, and it was going to like a breakneck speed. And then I saw the best image, which was Don Matrick jumping from one sinking Titanic to another sinking Titanic, and that was the image that was released.
He didn't get fired. He quit, right?
Well, sure, yeah.
So are they disguising it as, is that what you think?
Well, this happened, like, why would, if someone was obviously, like, if you're going to take a job as a CEO of a company, you don't just go to your boss from one and say, yeah, I'm going over to Zynga. They're hiring me on as a CEO. So, see ya. That's something that you talk for a long time. Like when you're a high level exec, that you would, like, Microsoft would know that this was happening. And if they knew that was happening, he wouldn't have been the front man at E3. He would have been basically brushed aside to like silently kind of transition from one company to another. But he was out there, he was doing all the interviews, he was on stage, he was doing all the post E3 interviews, and then like
poorly, by the way, as
poorly,
well too,
horribly.
If you didn't see our E3 coverage,
and then he sends out the letter saying we screwed up. We're all the stuff that we said we're going to do, we're not doing it. And then not even a week later, he's now moved over to another company. So
yeah, it certainly is timely. I'll give you that. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they fired him. Not at all.
Well, I don't think they would have fired him. It's probably like, you know what? We really don't want you as a CEO anymore. So we're either going to demote you or you could go find a job somewhere else.
He wasn't the CEO. He was like the president of their entertainment division or something.
Yeah, he was essentially the CEO of the Xbox division, like whatever the CEO would do. Yeah. So he's now doing the same thing, but now for Zynga, and now the CEO of Zynga, I think it's Mark Pincus or whatever. He's not the CEO, which is crazy because he started the company and everybody thought he would always be there, and he's a bit of a douche. So now Don Matrick's over there. And it's like, really? and this is like this is just a coincidence, Microsoft. And yeah, I saw an interview shortly after, and it's like, oh well, this is in the works for a while. Well, no, this would not have
had someone else on stage.
This wouldn't have been in the works for a while, because there's no way, if Don Matrick was leaving Microsoft, that they would have had him as the face of this new product, especially when it just failed so like gloriously in their face. Really, really bizarre. But anyway, I guess if you do something really stupid, you can go find another job in the same industry really quick, apparently.
Well, I mean, with arguably a very shitty company as well, too. Like,
yeah, but he's getting paid stupid amounts of money. I think he's going to be making close to $50 million his first year with signing bonuses and stock benefits and all the other stuff. It's
what
dumb.
A bastard.
So yeah, he's now the CEO of Zynga. He's not the boss of Xbox anymore.
See, the weird thing is I really liked Don Matrick up until the Xbox One reveal.
Yeah.
I really liked him. I thought he was an interesting guy.
He's a swarmy douche.
Yeah, he certainly was two-faced. I mean, like, there's almost no question about that. Just, the fake smile bullshit and the always happy about clearly shitty features. But I liked him. I thought he was doing good things because the 360 was very strong. But then, the reveal and E3 and the poor handling of everything, the way he was just such a...
Yeah, we have a console for you people. It's called the Xbox 360.
Like, what an asshole. Like, are you kidding? That's what you're going to say to people?
DRM.
Like, that is...
We're not going to revisit DRM. It's baked into the DNA of the system.
Yeah.
A week later, we're taking that DRM thing. Yeah, we're taking it out.
That shit, like... The guy who got fired from Microsoft for his tweets early, before the Xbox One reveal did less to get fired,
Yep.
So yeah, I think Don Matrick is just an asshole at this point, and I can't wait to see what building he burns down next.
Oh yeah, I mean Zynga's already on the. Like I said, the best image was him leaping from one sinking Titanic to another sinking Titanic, and that's pretty much exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's like
Angry Joe, Joe Vargas. If you're familiar with the Angry Joe show on Twitter, he's like. Everybody was asking him to do like, oh, can you do a vlog of your reaction to, the Don Matrick news? And he's like, I don't need to do a video. This picture shows exactly what I feel. And it's Don Matrick from the Xbox One reveal doing his like, his hand is, showcasing the Xbox One, but he's just been cut out, and behind him is just a wasteland of apocalyptic, it's so funny. And I was just like, that's fantastic.
Trevor RA is saying the Xbox One should go die in a fire.
You know what? I think it's a better system now for sure. I mean, they're PS4 and Xbox One are on par at this point for me. But yeah, I mean, it's just Microsoft still has a ton of work to do. A ton of work to do.
Huge.
And Sony is,
amount.
They could just coast for now, which is fine, and I think they should do that. So, yeah.
Yeah, did you see
Best of luck to you, Don, if you're listening. I know he's a big listener of the show. So
the interview that was done after Microsoft made the switch from like, oh, we're listening to our consumers. DRM sucks, apparently, so we're not going to do that. The interview that Sony did is like, well, it's nice to see Microsoft's finally listening to their consumers, and it's just like, wow, that is a huge dig. That is amazing. Like, Sony has gotten so much like brownie points across like the geek culture, the gamers, like everybody that would be talking about this, they've gotten so many brownie points. Like pretty much like Sony could come to your house and smack your mother and you'd be like, all right, they're Sony. I mean, they didn't give us DRM.
Exactly.
They got so many get out of jail free cards.
Hit your mother and then look at you and be like, yeah, but our console's still $3.99. You're like, oh yeah, right,
come
fine,
here, come here. Totally. Like they have so much goodwill right now, and they're being smart about it still.
Well, and it's really not even goodwill. Like it's just awareness. That's all it is. You know, they're finally. And not that we should be listened to all the time, because quite frankly, although we have strong opinions, I think we also have some extremely bad ideas, you know? Yep. Lloyd, you and I talk about all the time about bad decisions Nintendo's making and Sony and Microsoft are making. I'm not sure if the decisions I would make in that situation would be better. I'm not a business expert. I just feel strongly about things, right? But that said, Sony seems to be listening to the right information, and they're gaining ground just because they are not drawing a line in the sand. I think they're being intentionally ambiguous on things, and the things that need to be cleared up, they're like, you want that? Okay, fine. You know, okay, fine. Yep. Okay, fine. You know, and that's really the smartest a video game company maybe has ever been, you know, is what Sony is right now. It's their awareness is staggering to me after decades of not listening to a soul who didn't work in that building, you know?
Yep.
It's crazy.
Very crazy. All right. Let's move away from the sinking ship that is Microsoft. And let's get into a couple quick stories. The first one is just kind of a head scratcher. I didn't think that they would ever do it kind of thing. And that is this week, 2K Games has announced that they're coming out with some stuff for Borderlands 2. But it doesn't actually do anything for your characters. They're selling costume sets. So for all the main 5 characters, you can buy a costume for $1, which gives you a new costume and a new head. And if you buy one for Krieg the Psycho, which is a new character, you get 4 new sets of armor / heads. So these are basically skins for $1. And that is it. They don't give you a bonus at all. So this is now a full-on retail game with a season pass. DLC that was outside the season pass is now putting cosmetic microtransactions into the game. I don't know what I feel about that.
I think it's hard to really make an opinion on it. The thing is, they're not forcing you to buy it.
No.
It's not making the game easier.
No, and I'm not saying that anybody is being forced here. I'm just saying.
No, I know they're not.
This is instead of just bringing out Borderlands 3 or another piece of DLC, they're getting into microtransaction-y things, which is a free-to-play mechanic. Like that's the type of stuff that is in a free-to-play game. Like this is going back to Horse Armor, which was like absolutely ridiculous.
That was a watershed moment, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Horse Armor.
It totally was. Like I don't understand why they would do this. Like, have we not given them enough money? This seems like a money grab to me.
Well, I mean, it absolutely is. I mean, there's no other way about it.
So
they're thinking like, hey, listen, we have these artwork styles that we either didn't use or just made up. Trying to figure out if people are going to pay for them, and then we'll make our decision on what Borderlands 3 is going to be in the future. Or something, you know.
You're not following along, Jeff. I know. I know I know the process. I'm just saying, as a company who has sold a game for $60 and a season pass for $20 on top of it, and the True Vault Hunter kit for $5 and 2 other classes for $5 each, so they got $95 from people. They are now asking for another $7. Like, when is too much for a game that isn't free to play? I think so.
Then you were asking a rhetorical question. Then?
I'm not saying solve the world's problems and hunger in Africa. It's just like, is this good for a company that I've supported before? Like, what has this done to my thoughts about 2K? Like, is this sullying their name for me? I'm not sure yet. I'm not going to buy it, obviously. But it's like, really? You want more money from me after I've already given you almost $100? And this is something that doesn't actually give me any content.
Yeah, I don't understand why people, and in this situation, you are confused by a company who wants your money. Like, of course they want more money from you. Like, it should be a given, you know?
All right. Well, I see this conversation is going to go nowhere, so we might as well keep moving on.
I'm just saying, like, I mean, they're just trying to get money.
But this is a company that isn't EA. They're not douches about every single thing they do. They're really liberal. They're really liberal
about this, though. Like,
totally they are. They've already taken $100 out of my wallet, and now they're saying, "Oh, look at these new costumes." Instead of giving them out free, just because you supported us with all of this money, you can now buy them. Like this is
the game bought all of that stuff though.
But a lot of people have, and this is microtransactions in a retail game. So maybe we should have jumped on the game or the conversation this way. Should microtransactions be in a game that is fully retail, like stuff like cosmetic microtransactions?
I don't see the problem with it.
Really?
Because nobody's got a gun to your head.
No, but no one has a gun to your head to buy anything. But this is this is goodwill. This is like, should this be happening and should we be supporting them? I
understand the goodwill argument, because I think that's talked about a lot, and we touch on it every once in a while. Like, is there something that we as gamers should get extra for free because we spent $60 and we supported you? And I don't think that's the case. If it's content that's developed after the full retail release of the game, to get it free would be nice, but it really, if they're gonna make me pay for it, that's up to them. Like, I feel like I know it's tough. It's like going to see a movie, right? And then, complaining that you have to buy it when it comes out on DVD or something, like, it just, to me, it really doesn't make a difference. I don't think that it's going to like ruin video games or anything like that. They wanted to charge for it.
I never said anything like that at all.
No, but you seem to have like a problem with it, and I'm just trying to understand why.
No, my problem with it is this is a company that has created a game that is really successful, and they've made a lot of money while doing it. Yeah. And now they want more money for cosmetic items. Cosmetic items are in games that are free to play. That's when they make sense. So games like DC Online now has a line of cosmetic items because they couldn't sell monthly subscriptions. Mm-hmm. What is the big Valve shooter, which I can't think of the name right now?
Team Fortress?
Yeah, Team Fortress 2 has cosmetic items now because it's now free to play. You can download the client.
Has them as well too.
And that makes sense. And now they're putting cosmetic items into a game when, like, it just does, to me, it doesn't make sense. Like, they've made a lot of money. Like, move on to the next thing then. Like, I don't know. Anyway, who cares? We'll move on because we're not going to have a good conversation about this. Let's get into
I don't seem to understand your point.
All right, let's get into the last story. And this is Little Big Planet has just announced that they have 8 million user created levels, which is a pretty damn huge number.
Yeah. Across all games in the series, which is only what, 3, right?
Yeah, Little Big Planet 2, Little Big Planet Karting, and then the Vita and PSP versions of Little Big Planet. I don't think the PSP connected to the main store, but I'm not positive on that. But yeah, I mean that's a pretty big thing. From 2008 till now, people have made 8 million pieces of content. Probably.
I didn't realize the game was that popular still.
I didn't like it personally.
I thought the original was okay. I still have it on my my PS3 because it was given to me free after the network went down for whatever. But it was all right. It was something that I could get into long term. It was like, it's fun for a while, and then all the levels were kind of the same, which is so stupid for me to say considering I play Call of Duty all the time. But yeah, whatever.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, 8 million levels. Pretty cool. Game that's been out for a long time. It's kind of cool to see. I don't know what Media Molecule is going to do after this. I didn't like Little Big Planet that much. I tried to play through some of the main campaign, and it was fun. And I don't think I even beat the campaign on either of them. So not my game. But apparently there is people that are really excited about it, especially Little Big Planet 2, where people are making full games inside of the game, which is pretty cool. So I mean, a lot of these 8 million pieces of content are probably someone that took a level and added a sticker of their face and then released it. But then there's a lot of people that have been a lot more creative as well.
Yeah. Interesting though. 8 million. That's a huge number.
It's a huge number. We usually end on a downer, so I thought we'd end on an up note this week, which is kind of nice. All right, guys, that's gonna about do it for the episode 36 of the bonus stage podcast. We do this every week, except we will not be doing it next week. So if you come to our live show, we won't be here, and we also won't have a show next week as well. So any other week, check it out, VGPodcast.com.
Wait, so we don't have a show 2 weeks in a row now, or just next week?
Just next week.
Okay, because I thought I heard you say and the week after.
Okay. No, we don't have a show next week, but there is a show the next week after. We do it every Friday at 10 p.m. at vgpodcast.com/live. So come check it out. Let us know what you think of the show, vgpodcast.com. Email us, vgpodcast@gmail.com, or you can call our voicemail line, which is area code 505 VGPodcast. So guys, enjoy your week off. We will. And take it easy. We'll talk to you in a couple weeks' time.
Yeah, and definitely write in and let me know what Lloyd was trying to get at in the Borderlands.
No, don't even do that. We don't need you to
explain it to me.
We don't need to ever address that again.
It's over my head.
All right, I'm muting your mic.
See you guys later.
Later, guys.
Let's get started.